You finally have a free afternoon. No deadlines, no obligations, nothing pressing waiting for you. You sit down to just be still. And within minutes, your mind starts doing something strange. It reminds you of an email you forgot to send. It replays an argument from last week. It starts planning something that isn't due for months. Somehow, the one thing your brain refuses to do, even when given full permission, is nothing at all. This isn't a personal failing. It isn't a sign that you don't know how to relax. It's something far stranger and far older, built into the basic architecture of your mind. In 2014, psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran an experiment that revealed just how uncomfortable true stillness actually is for the human brain. He placed participants alone in an empty room for 15 minutes, with nothing to do but sit with their own thoughts. No phone, no book, just time, and their own mind. The results were startling. Many participants rated the experience as unpleasant. And in a follow-up version of the study, participants were given the option to press a button that delivered a mild electric shock to themselves, simply as something to do. A striking number of people, most of them men, chose to shock themselves rather than sit quietly with nothing but their own thoughts for a few uninterrupted minutes. Think about that. Given the choice between boredom and self-inflicted pain, a meaningful portion of people chose pain. Why would your brain be built this way? Why does true stillness feel almost unbearable, even when nothing is actually wrong? To understand this, you have to understand what your brain is actually built to do. Your brain did not evolve to relax, it evolved to detect problems. For nearly all of human history, an idle mind in the wild wasn't a peaceful mind, it was a vulnerable one. A moment of true stillness could mean missing the sound of an approaching predator or failing to notice a shift in the weather that threatened your food supply. Constant low-level scanning for threats wasn't a flaw in your ancestors' minds, it was the entire point. Evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse has spent decades studying why anxiety and vigilance evolved the way they did. He describes something he calls the smoke detector principle. A smoke detector is designed to sound the alarm far more often than there's an actual fire, because the cost of a false alarm is tiny compared to the cost of missing a real fire. Your brain's threat detection system operates on the exact same logic. It would rather generate 100 unnecessary worries than risk missing one real danger. Relaxation, from your brain's evolutionary perspective, looks a lot like turning the smoke detector off, and your brain, quite reasonably by ancient standards, refuses to do it. This explains something curious about the moment you finally sit still. It isn't that your brain has nothing to do, it's that the absence of an external problem doesn't turn the alarm system off. It just means the system starts generating problems internally instead. The unanswered email, the unresolved argument, the distant deadline. Your mind isn't malfunctioning. It's running its oldest program with nothing external to point it at, so it points inward instead. There's a second piece to this puzzle, one that explains why relaxation can feel almost effortful rather than restful. Psychiatrist and neuroscientist Judson Brewer at Brown University has studied how the brain forms habit loops around anxious thinking, and his research shows something important about relaxation. For a brain that has spent years reinforcing vigilance, being still doesn't just feel unfamiliar, it can feel genuinely threatening, in the same way breaking any deeply ingrained habit does. Worry, oddly enough, can start to feel like a kind of safety behavior. As long as you're scanning for problems, some part of your brain believes you're protecting yourself. Stopping that scan, even for 15 minutes in an empty room, can trigger a kind of internal resistance that has nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with a system that has learned, over years, that staying alert equals staying safe. This reframes the entire experience of failing to relax. It isn't that you're bad at resting. It's that some part of your nervous system has learned, through repetition, that vigilance is the job and stillness is the risk. So what does modern life do to a brain built this way? For nearly all of human history, the threats your ancestors' vigilance system scanned for were concrete and finite. A sound in the grass, a change in the sky. Once the scan was complete and no danger was found, the alarm could genuinely quiet down. Modern life removed almost all of those concrete threats and replaced them with something your ancient alarm system was never designed to handle: an endless stream of abstract, ambiguous problems. Emails that are never fully finished, financial security that never feels fully secure, social relationships that can always, theoretically, go wrong. Your threat detection system doesn't know the difference between a lion in the grass and a vague sense that you should be doing something more productive right now. It just knows there's a scan to run and no clear signal telling it the scan is complete. Which means, for a lot of people living now, the alarm never fully gets the all clear it evolved to expect. It just keeps quietly running, generating new things to worry about the moment the last one gets resolved, because true, sustained safety, the kind that would let the system finally stand down, rarely arrives in a form your ancient brain recognizes. Here's what makes this worth sitting with. The discomfort you feel when you finally try to do nothing isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that your threat detection system is working exactly as designed for a world that mostly no longer exists. The system that kept your ancestors alive is the same system quietly refusing to let you enjoy a quiet Sunday afternoon. Understanding this doesn't instantly make stillness comfortable, but it changes what that discomfort means. The restless thoughts that show up the moment you sit still aren't a personal failure to relax. They're an ancient alarm system, doing exactly what it was built to do. You finally have a free afternoon, no deadlines, no obligations, nothing pressing waiting for you. You sit down to just be still, and your mind starts doing what it has always done: scanning, searching, refusing to fully quiet down. But now you know what that restlessness actually is. Not a flaw in you,